Hey guys, my name is Jasmine and I'm from Jasmine and the Littles. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing why I decided to switch our handwriting curriculum, even though we've been using the same one from the very beginning. And honestly, this was not a decision that I made lightly. So if you watched some of my previous videos, you will already know that we have been using Handwriting Without Tears since the start. We actually started with the My First School Book, which is more of the beginner writer preschool level. Then we moved on to Kickstart Kindergarten, which is considered their preschool level. And then we transitioned into Letters and Numbers for Me, which is their kindergarten workbook. And we've really gone through the full progression of this program. But once we got into the middle of Letters and Numbers for Me, I started noticing a few things with my daughter's handwriting that I just did not want to ignore. The biggest issue was letter formation and placement. So for example, she would write letters like A, D, or G, and she would naturally form more of a circle first and then try to add the line later. So what will happen is the line would end up being inside the circle, or the letter would just look off and uneven, and her starting and stopping points wasn't consistent. And overall, her writing just started to look a little crooked. Now, it really wasn't terrible because she actually writes pretty well, for my opinion. But for me, handwriting is one of those things where if a habit starts forming early, it's really hard to break later. And I just rather fix it now than try to fix it down the road. Also, I grew up in a household where handwriting really mattered. My mom has been an elementary school teacher for over 35 years, and let's just say she would absolutely cringe at poor handwriting habits. So this is something that I take pretty seriously. Another issue I started noticing was the line structure difference. In Handwriting Without Tears, they mainly use a two-line system. But now that my daughter is doing more advanced work, like her first grade level work, she's been introduced to the three-line primary system, and that mismatch started to show up in her handwriting. She wasn't always sure where the letters should stop, start, or sit on the line. So, in the middle of the book, I actually decided to switch to Zaner-Bloser. I actually picked up a secondhand kindergarten version of the book and just started her from the beginning. Now, the main reason why I chose Zaner-Bloser is because I feel like it teaches a clear starting and stopping points, especially for those letters like A, D, and G. And it really corrected her habits almost immediately. And there's also some like more structured practice. So they have like the tracing the letter, write the letter, and then apply it with the word. And that repetition made a huge difference. Now, one thing that didn't really work for us with Handwriting Without Tears, especially for the kindergarten book, is that there's only one line of practice per letter. There's no tracing at this stage, and there's not a lot of repetition. Now, my daughter loved that because that was quick and easy for her. But for me, it just wasn't enough to really practice and lock in the skills that she needed to know. Now, another big factor in my decision to switch over to Zaner-Bloser was cursive. I already knew that I wanted to teach cursive later on, probably around the third grade. But when I really looked into it, I really preferred the way Zaner-Bloser teaches cursive strokes over Handwriting Without Tears. So I figured if we were going to switch eventually anyway, we might as well make the transition now. So what I ended up doing was I started her off on the Zaner-Bloser kindergarten book, and I also picked up the first grade one, the second grade manuscript, which is this one, and the second grade cursive. Because what I've seen is that it can be a big jump going straight into cursive later, so I just wanted to be prepared. Hey, I just had to cut in really quick while I was editing this video. And just a heads up, my initial mic is not on right now, so the audio might sound a little different. But I wanted to add something that I didn't mention earlier. I still absolutely recommend Handwriting Without Tears. One thing that I realized with Zaner-Bloser is that it doesn't really include what I would consider a true pre-writing practice. So if you're starting with a younger child, you might need to supplement with something like some simple tracing work. The Kumon books, they are a great option for that. And honestly, one of the things that I really appreciated about Handwriting Without Tears was that early foundation, especially the My First School Book, which is the green one, and the Kickstart Kindergarten, which is the purple one. If I were to start over, and I will be since I have another little one coming up, I would still begin with Handwriting Without Tears for those early pre-writing skills. Then I would transition over to Zaner-Bloser once we hit that kindergarten level. So I just wanted to be clear, I'm not bashing Handwriting Without Tears at all. It's actually an excellent program, especially for kids who benefit from a more hands-on kinesthetic learning. And it's also really supportive for things like fine motor development and the occupational needs, especially for kids with dyslexia. And for us, this switch is just about the season that she's in right now. But if Handwriting Without Tears is working for your child, I would absolutely stick with it. Now, I do want to mention something that was really important to me. The older versions of Zaner-Bloser include the QR codes that show exactly how to form each letter, which is amazing for her, and my daughter loves it. But the newer 2025 version actually removed those QR codes, and I was super pissed about that. Instead, they want you to use their subscription-based resource. So what I'll do is link a free PDF in the QR practice sheets down in the description box below so you can access those videos without paying for their subscription. And if you have any questions about either curriculum, definitely let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because I have a lot more homeschool and curriculum content coming your way. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.